Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode that this guy hasn't seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and running mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey Omari, thank you so much for having me back. As always, love being here, love doing this thing. It's one of my favorite things that I get to do. This little movie club that we have started, this passing things back and forth. One guy has seen, the other hasn't. It can be movies, it can be TV shows, it can be music videos, it can be documentaries, it can be anime movies, it can be 80s, it can be released last month. Whatever we want to pass back and forth that we watch with our eyeballs, we do that, and boy, is it a lot of fun. We've built up quite the catalog at this point. My
Yeah,
goodness,
and it's quite the varied catalog at that. Lots
yep.
of stuff all around
We're here nearly every week. We've missed like what, maybe 2 weeks, and going on 3 years.
about. Yeah, going
Get
strong.
out of here! Get out of
Going
here!
strong, and we are persistence, much like the persistence protagonist of this week's film that you brought to me, the one and only Hot Rod.
Hot Rod from 2007, rated PG-13. Self-proclaimed stuntman Rod Kimball is preparing for the jump of his life to clear 15 buses to raise money for his abusive stepfather Frank's life-saving heart operation. It is directed by Akiva Schaffer. It is written by Pam Brady, and it stars Andy Sandberg, Isla Fisher, and Ian McShane, as well as a bunch of other wonderful actors and actresses. Omari. Um, I would say, what do you know about Hot Rod? And then additionally, what is your Lonely Island experience?
So, Hot Rod, when it came out, I'm pretty sure you said it's 2007.
2007.
Yeah. So, I probably saw the trailers and thought it was too stupid for me. And I know I was not that familiar with Lonely Island in
You're a high
2007.
intellectual.
Well, no, that's why I said too stupid. Like they're levels of stupid. But at the time, I think I was also trying to. I don't know. I probably had some ego about me versus all movies are going crap and blah blah blah. You know how it is when you get older.
Right.
Um,
No, that especially that age, 2 years out of high school.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like come on now.
Start to get rebellious about everything,
Yeah, like come
including
on
the
now. This
movies that
is
you watch.
Yeah, like that's a little too stupid. You got to put some effort in. But I didn't. I also was unfamiliar with Lonely Island and Adam Sandberg and stuff at that time. A couple years later, in 2008, 2009, when they start catching on with the Saturday Night Live stuff and getting I'm on a boats and all of that shit, it's like, oh, okay. I like this Lonely Island group. Didn't even remember that Hot Rod had been made and released.
Uh-huh.
So it just kind of I missed that part of the Lonely Island window. I think they're hilarious nowadays and everything. And probably if I was more familiar with them at the time, would have watched the movie. But yeah, I was just like, oh shit, this is old these guys. Especially when you got your Parnells and your Bill Haters and all of those. But yeah, my first time hearing anything Lonely Island was Lazy Sunday, which I think that was before they went big, big.
Yeah,
But
I think that would have even been before this.
yeah, so I might have liked the Lazy Sunday skit and
Uh-huh.
then just didn't realize there was more to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I ask about the Lonely Island in general because this is a Lonely Island project. I said that it is written by Pam Brady, which it is from a WGA standpoint. The the Lonely Island guys were looking to make a movie. Akiva Schaffer, the director, is a Lonely Island member. Obviously, Andy Samberg, and then you have Yorma Tacone, who plays younger stepbrother Kevin in the
Yeah.
film. He is also Lonely Island. So the three of them looking to make a film, get the rights to make this film, that I believe in one interview I saw, I don't know if it was joking or serious, they said Dane Cook had passed on. um so they get the rights to this film, and then they openly say in this behind the scenes footage that they kind of rewrite it almost word for word for Andy's voice, and their sense of humor. Um,
Mm.
but usually from a WGA standpoint, you have to, like, if any remnants of the original script remains in the new script, even if it's simple as just the character names, everything else is different, then it's still that original writer's credit. Uh, it definitely has a writing pass from all three of the Lonely Island guys, and then this is really their first project, their first baby, and they made it in a desire to obviously present this comedy, but also additionally kind of present a film homaging their love of uh a lot of the 80s early 90s films that they loved as kids, in particular the stuntmen of that era. And they do that as a through a pathway of our main character being obsessed with being a evil Knievel type, but in reality they're kind of their hero, the hero of this film is like a film stuntman kind of thing. I chose this movie because I am a big Lonely Island guy. Like you said, starting with Lazy Sunday, going through all of the SNL digital shorts. Eventually, they started releasing their music
Yeah.
as part of the digital shorts. At some point, I found their YouTube channel that they were doing before SNL hired them. A lot of funny stuff, a lot of funny skits on there. Um, Continued through the music, really enjoyed this film and pretty much every subsequent film they've done since then.
Yeah, we've
Uh,
watched Pop Star on this channel.
we've already watched Popstar. They also, let's see, they have a couple other um Lonely Island. There's a Lonely Island film on Netflix. I can't remember the full name of it, but it's about the 1986 Oakland Athletics. It's amazing. Maybe I'll make you watch that at some point. Um, and then the the most recent Rescue Rangers film is kind of a Lonely Island baby. A lot of people didn't realize that, but that is directed by Akiva, starring Andy. John Mulaney is the counterpart, but Yorma is in it. Um, so yeah, that's kind of a Lonely Island baby as well. Enjoyed all of their work. I'm a big Lonely Island fan. All the music, even the newest stuff released. So excited to bring another one of those films. And like I was, it's a very tight window. Yeah, last week when I was looking for what I was going to select, I really was feeling I wanted to pick a stupid comedy.
Yeah.
Not to piggyback off of your opening comments, but yeah, I intentionally wanted to pick a dumb a dumb comedy. And it's a really hard needle to thread
Yeah.
of a good dumb
Dumb
comedy.
comedy. Yeah.
And then, like, especially of our age and our generation, dumb comedies, we're gonna end up seeing a lot of them. So yeah, there were getting a dumb comedy that you hadn't seen that was good, that I wanted to talk about and wanted to watch again. It was a hard needle to thread. I'm glad we found this one.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not that and again, you were like I know you were joking when you said intellectual viewer thing, But I do like dumb comedies. That's why I was just like, this ain't the same as when I back in my day. What do I know? Back in my day was like 3 years ago. But yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, getting into it. One of the first things I noticed them using the rag doll early on when he well, like it's the ramp good. No, we didn't reinforce it. He went and he like crumpled down. Like you see him crash, but you see like the rag doll like come on the ground. So I'm like, yeah,
That's a person.
there's no rag doll at all.
It's a human being that shattered his femur in the very first stunt they filmed for the film. And they used the take and put it in the movie. It looks like a rag doll because he shatters his femur. Yep, that's a real take. Every single stunt in this film is done by a real person. There are no rag dolls, and there's very minor wire work.
There.
Later on, I'm sure we're going to talk about it. But yeah, there's a scene that maybe 10% of it is done by wires, and everything else is completely just utter reality.
Fair.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Again, this is a film for stuntmen, made by stuntmen,
No, it
filled with
makes
stuntmen.
sense. Well, I figured there'd be a lot of them, but I thought that particular one probably because of the way he hit the ground. Like I said, you
No,
see
yeah.
him hit the wall. Like I was like, you see him hit the wall, but for whatever reason, they like had the ragdoll crumple stuff,
hmm
but that's because
The
he
interview I
actually
saw, the interview I
fell.
saw, Akiva said like, he referred to it of like, of course we're going to, that's the take we're going to use in the film, but it also set a false precedent to the audience that we were using camera
Yeah,
trickery or something in it, when in actuality there are no dolls, there's very limited. And that's when I learned that yeah, they
yeah.
had very limited wire work, and every scene has an actual person in it.
Well, that's cool. Um, but yeah, I like a lot of the early establishing of the characters, the brothers, they clearly are close. They got their own little good luck ritual with the like chanting the various things.
Warriors protect me.
Please protect me. And then the grad.
Yeah,
I was happy to see old dude from John Wick. Uh
yeah. Ian McShane.
Sounds
Yes,
about
yeah,
right.
Ian McShane. He's great. I always think of Deadwood. Um,
Okay.
Old it's a HBO series about a western town, old
Gotcha.
west town.
Yeah, I generally like him whenever he's on the screen and whatever kind of role he's doing. He's also
Immediate gravitas.
yeah,
Like you're just immediately just like the voice and
a
the
presence.
eyes, yeah, the presence. It's just gravitas.
Yeah. So that was cool. I actually I thought I liked the relationship between him and Sam Berg early, and then like one of the later scenes where they repeated their little gimmick they have going before. I'm like, okay, I do like this because I kind of peeped early on, and not that it was that subtle about it, but like, oh, this is just their way of bonding. They are gonna keep cussing each other out, but they
Yeah.
fucking clearly are close. So it's like, okay, now this just makes me laugh whenever they do any of this
Uh-huh.
shit. So that was cool. Early on, there was the when he first crashed into the pool because he's like, I'm gonna jump the pool. He crashes in there, and I think he gets upset and he goes in the woods and starts like dancing or whatever, rage dancing.
That's when he finds out that the stepdad needs the heart, is gonna die.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Is when he does the rage dance.
yeah. That was fun because it's yeah, the 80s montage stuff. And then a
Yeah,
lot of
I
the
mean,
songs in this movie are clearly done by them.
I mean, yeah, that's the like the movie is directly being inspired by so many of the films that and types of films that we've covered on that I've made you watch here on this on this show kind of thing. I just feel like there's like a sect of maybe, I don't know, 15 to 25 films that this movie is directly parodying, inspired by, whatever you want to say. But yeah, then we get in that scene, we have what was written in the script as the longest fall in movie history. That's what they wanted to depict, and I don't know if there's an official tracking of that somewhere, or
But
but I
it
can't
goes
think of.
on for a long time.
Yeah, and then that's the scene where there are two shots in that fall where it is a wire work situation because they really wanted some like flippy nonsense. But everything else is is just a dude falling down a mountain.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this dude. See, that was one where I didn't think a ragdoll was being used. I was just like, damn, how many times they make this dude fall? Just- Um, yeah. So that was crazy in and of itself. I liked when he came up with the plan for like how they're gonna do this, and while he's talking, they're going from like location to location, and then you get the homeless guy that just randomly takes over the plan. Just what are you
No,
guys
I
doing?
love that bit. I love that little sequence. Yeah, yeah, that's what do you think about the crew? You got Yorma Tacone as the little brother. You got Bill Hader, the mechanic, and then you got Danny McBride, the ramp builder.
Yeah. Yorm has always been one of those guys that I feel like he probably is more celebrated by a lot of people, but he's definitely underappreciated when it comes to like Lonely Island talks
Yeah, he might
because
be the third in the crew.
yeah. But I've always enjoyed what he his work in these things.
Uh-huh.
Uh Bill Hader, often hilarious. You get him to do the Bill Hader things, and you get Danny McBride to be Danny McBride. So
Danny McBride is funny, but he annoys me on a
yeah,
level as well because he's just either he's such a good bully character, like that douchebaggy kind of guy, or I also there's a part of me that just thinks that that's how he's being on set, and it's all just improv, and Yorma has to just sit there and get like shoved around by and I don't know,
yeah,
I just get annoyed by at the character, and you could say that that's Danny McBride doing a good job, I guess, in like wrestling terms.
yeah.
um but yeah, I love Bill Hader in everything he does, and I really like him in this. Uh the I feel like the introduction scene is a classic of just like yeah, I'm Dave, and I like to
The
party.
party scene, yes.
Uh no, Dave, you don't party. Only I party. Well, I party. I can party. This is like uh
I party too. Yeah, you
uh
don't party, you literally don't.
and then Andy Samberg having to pick him up towards the end of the film, and then him arriving with the metal shard in his forehead, and then the whole vignette we get of him just telling the story of being at work and taking the acid and deciding he's gonna. I saw an interview where Bill Hader said that that's beat for beat inspired by a friend of his who he had to go pick up, who had a giant shard of metal sticking out of his forehead. And then the guy was like, "Yeah, I was at work, and the guy didn't have acid, or couldn't do the acid, so I did the acid, and I went home and started playing with my bench grinder, and
It's so crazy. Like, oh, I'm high on acid. Let me play with the bench grinder. Like,
yeah." He said the guy comes to the he invites the guy to the premiere, and then they go out afterwards, and the guy goes, "Hey, you know that part of the movie where your character gets the piece of metal stuck in his forehead when he's tripping balls?" Billy is like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Man." that same thing happened to me. And Bill Hader's like, yeah, man,
That's what
yeah,
it's based off.
that's your story. It's inspired by you. It's beat for beat. We took it from your life.
That's hilarious. But that was a fun part, especially with him picking him up and everything. The little stunt montage with him trying to raise money, the setting himself on fire for the birthday party, the various like him failing into stunts or something. One of the things I liked about it though is that people kept showing up to these things just for him to like fail anyway, and they kept acting like nobody that liked him was impressed, but they kept showing up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it got to the point to where they were doing the movie, and they were like, "Gonna put the movie on." I'm like, "Yeah, this movie theater's packed. I think these people are literally just coming to see him like fail these stunts. Like, if y'all really hate him, but he's really as bad a stuntman as you're saying, stop paying money to come see him. You're still giving him your money no matter what he says the price is. It's pretty cheap prices, but they just keep giving him money to do it.
Well, the movie theater scene is going to reveal that's because
Yeah.
he's not a cool stunt man performing stunts. He's a joke. He's a clown
Okay.
performing jokes and failing.
Still giving
So
him your money. So who's laughing now? Not him in the moment.
not
Definitely
him.
not
Yeah,
him
he
in the
doesn't
moment.
like it. He
He
doesn't
was
like
not
it in the
happy
moment
about it at all.
because he thought he was a really cool stunt man.
Yeah. I do. I'm kind of upset they keep calling him self-proclaimed stuntman. Like, he's doing the stunts. He's
It's
like,
stunts. It is stunts.
yeah,
Yeah.
like he just because he crashed into the bus doesn't mean he wasn't on the bike driving off that ramp, taking the jump to try and do it. Like, that's
Oh,
him
another
out there.
the other brutal hit of all the hits. Like, there's so many things. But honestly, like the worst ones are some of the earliest ones. The first moped ramp one, like right at the beginning of the film, and then the one during the speed test
Yeah,
when he's on the luge and he catches his feet and like goes like 90
yeah.
degrees pancakes directly into the uh it's brutal. But like I saw
Whiskey.
somebody describe that like Andy Samberg's character you can't look at as a real person. You have to look at as Wile E. Coyote. Like none of these like the opening shot of him
Yeah,
crashing over that van, he's depicted the very next moment just like mopeding along the coast.
yeah.
Totally fine.
Just chilling and trying to like get some kids to do stunts or come see him jump the pool. But yeah, the movie theater thing happened. But eventually, you mentioned the drug story and some other stuff. Oh, we haven't mentioned Will Arnett and the love interest,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
Denise.
that's
They're in the
because that's
movie as
fine.
well.
There's
Yeah,
a reason probably why we didn't mention it. Isla Fisher's adorable and a very nice character, and she's there. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a lot. She's not written to have a lot of depth. She's there to propel Rod
yeah.
forward in his life a little bit. Um, but the whole Will Arnett aspect of it is the worst parts of this movie. It's not necessarily bad. It's just the worst parts of this movie, except for
The babe
which
thing at the
I knew you were gonna like
yeah. Because I put
was
note
the
there.
babe
That's why I was
joke.
like, oh yeah, I haven't even mentioned her. Just the babe, oh babe, and
I
I'm
mean, there's a
like
lot of those types. There's a lot of Omari type of humor in they
yeah.
do a lot of those kind of like
What
no,
are the
it's not three times is the secret to comedy. It's 17 times.
yes. It's the why is he still going? Yeah, but the I did speaking of like things that are just like the bell thing, like them trying to like match the pitch of the bell, just
Yep.
uh,
And her like she's the outsider. She's like, what the? fuck is going on?
But
Um,
I could just picture that
uh,
happening, like with the crews I have been part of throughout my life. Just to okay, but
yeah, no, I could absolutely. Cool Beans, another one. Like obviously,
Cool
it's
Beach
it's
turning into a
obviously
song out
it's
of nowhere.
edited into unreality, but I could absolutely see just like you said, in the groups that I've ran with in the last 20 years of my life, I could see a Cool Beans, Cool Beans, Cool Beans, Cool Beans just going on for like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that is definitely some Orange Cast activity, especially high school. Fucking
Yeah.
find a phrase. That's the phrase of the day. Let's just have fun with it. But that was fun. The motivational song as they get
Omari,
ready.
did you just brush your teeth?
Don't even. Don't even. Don't even. The motivational song that turned into a riot. And that part was funny. Just because the dude just randomly grabs a TV for no or a trash can for no reason and breaks the window. It's like as random as the song was to come out of nowhere. Like as I'm just gripping the fact, like this literally just turned into a motivational song out of nowhere, and then dude grabs a trash can. I'm like, oh god. So I like the timing with all of that. Um, and of course, he's building up to a big 15 bus jump, one more bus than Evil Knievel did. Now, I'm not the brightest knife in the drawer, so sometimes when people say they're doing stuff like I'm jumping over 15 buses, I always think it's like longitudinal or like long way,
Oh, yeah.
not long, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
the longest way, not side by
Same with the
side.
pool. When he says he's jumping the pool
Yeah,
and it's revealed in camera that it's the short side, you're like, "Oh, I guess he's still technically jumping a pool."
yeah.
Also, why was Danny McBride measuring the other direction of the pool?
It's standard regulation. But yeah, I figured when he got hit by the truck that one time, I figured that was gonna happen with just the way the comedy was going. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's gonna get hit by a truck right here. Beep, beep. Yep. It's still funny though. And then when it got ready for the final jump, I'm just like, so he fails this jump, right? Everything in this movie tells me he's not going to make this jump. But you know, they still play it up enough to make it seem like he might. Then he does the jump. We get the gag with the jump. We get the landing from the jump. And yeah, that was fun. Funny moments and all of that flying through
No,
the
yeah,
sky.
that's a great reveal when it's like, and then eventually you get Bill Hader like, and then you get the wide shot, and he's like 2 feet away from his bike.
Yeah, and he lands, and they have the little dream sequence with the taco versus the grilled cheese, which I always like those kind of things. Here's the
It's a little
nonsensical
racist,
line.
but correct.
Like a nonsense line from early in the thing actually brought back later to
Uh-huh.
be semi relevant to everything. And yeah, the final fight between him and the dad once he gets his conveniently priced heart surgery, as Chris Parnell put it.
Of course they're gonna have a humongous fight scene.
Love it. Um, yeah, Chris Parnell is another guy that you get to do just to be Chris Parnell in like 80% of the
Yeah.
things he's in. And I don't mean that necessarily as a negative. He was doing what you
And
expect, and I was
I
laughing.
just picture him knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, there's something about him and his vibe that I just picture him just like showing up and just being like, "All right, this is me." And you want me here? All right. Tell me when. And then it's just boom, whatever we see. And he's like, all right, thanks. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. And just like he just feels like it's just natural, so natural to
Yeah, every role he's in, I'm like, yeah, I can't really picture anybody but him doing that one.
him.
Just great fits in his roles, including AM broadcaster trying to bring back AM radio into style. But yeah, that's majority of things.
The news
Oh,
reports
oh.
of like we would take you to footage, but for some reason exclusive broadcast rights are owned by an AM radio station.
Which is great because they probably could have made a lot more money if they did get on the like TV doing it.
And they just were successful in making the or hitting the benchmark for
The
his stepmom
conveniently priced.
immediately price surgery.
Yeah. Ah. But no, it's a fun movie. Anything else that we didn't really.
Nothing's jumping out at me at the moment. I think we covered a lot. We covered a lot of the big moments, you know. Um yeah, I think the downfalls are Isla Fisher not being a completely fleshed out character, and thus because of that the Will Arnett aspect of things just feeling kind of empty and not needed as well. um am I willing to sacrifice those things for it to not be an hour and 28-minute movie? I don't know. Like, am I willing to go to an hour 45, 2 hour movie to have a more developed Isla Fisher character? Um, I don't know. I'm kind of happy with it the way it is. But that I would say if I'm gonna be nitpicky about it, that's just that's a downfall that I would probably point to.
Agree with that. Down to the do you sacrifice the time to do it? And if so, yes, it can enhance the film, but does it really need said enhancement? And I don't
Yeah.
really think it does. I think the movie is perfectly serviceable as it is. I'm not a fan of like jealousy plot lines, so I'm glad that didn't go too long. Where the dude tried to date the other girl to make her jealous,
Right.
just because those kind of things just lead to uncomfortable situations. And I'm just like, oh, here we go. You don't even, you're just using the person. Oh, God damn.
This is the first time in the movie where I question if he even successfully got the date in the first place. Or if he kind of always knew he was going to end up getting stood up
Yeah.
at
Oh, like,
the double date.
and he just told them
Because
that she said yes, but she said no.
yeah, because he's got to look cool because he's the alpha of the group, and he's got to look cool to him. Yeah, I don't know. I feel I've this is the first watch where I was like, is he just lying right now? He could be. This character isn't totally above playing this out as a scene
Yeah.
kind of thing. You know, it's not a full, it's a lie, but it's not a like a, nobody's getting hurt kind of lie
Yeah.
necessarily for this character. So it's possible. I'm not sure. Because we don't see the maybe there's some deleted again, hour 28 movie. Moves brisk. So maybe there's some deeper explanation there where they go back to that food stand and get some dialogue with the waitress on why she stood him up,
Yeah.
or we reveal that she never agreed to it in the first place or something. But yeah, that's all we get.
But
And
I'm
it's
happy that it's as short as it is, regardless,
right.
because it's just cool. We're not going down that whole long thing leading to the beat later in the movie where finally it's what so and so blah 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 blah. Because like when she first asked him, what were you gonna ask me about? I thought it was gonna be a misunderstanding and that They just have some some relationship that's not boyfriend and girlfriend, but it's weird because movies want to make false tension. They had that kiss on the mouth, but it's not actually that they're dating or some shit. But that's not what it was. Whatever, I get it now. But like you said, just a little bit of fleshing out there, but at the same time, who really cares? It's about the stunt. Well, not who cares, but it's about the stunts. It's about, laughing. And that scene's worth for laughter. Yeah.
All right.
Yes,
I
sir.
think that closes the book on Hot Rod from 2007. Omari, what do you
Watch
got?
it next week.
Yeah, what do you
Well,
got on the docket?
well, you know what? We mentioned this does a lot of shout outs to 80s films and stuff, some of which involving stunts and whatnot. So I figured while I was looking and thinking about 80s films, I was thinking of one that I asked you about that I wasn't sure if you saw, but I'm doing Escape from New York.
Oh yes, I'm excited about this one. This is a blind spot for me, and I'm excited to fill it.
Yes, sir. Well, that's what we will be doing next week on This Guy Hasn't Seen It. Sorry, if you want to see other stuff of ours, you can go ahead and check us out. Occasionally on Mondays, we got mock drafted things back and forth. If you got our fantasy wrestling thing going on there as a through line. On Tuesdays, obviously, you've got our show and plenty of other stuff. Like I said, we got Pop Star Review on this channel. You want to see us talk about some other Lonely Island material as well as some older 80s and stuff. Saturdays, we got a show called You Don't Watch Sports. Two guys, three topics, help you sprinkle a little information into your casual sports conversation and be your guiding light to see a casual sports talk. And yeah, also have the Whatever We Want podcast on Wednesdays with a friend of mine, friend of the channel, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
Thank you very much. As nature intended, we talk about just that, whatever we want. And I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in and stop on by. Bill, you got anything else you want to say to the folks?
No.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week with Escape from New York. Adios.